The other day I was browsing my Xbox store and Game Pass, looking for games that me and my partner could play. Looking for some replacements, looking for some new things, something new to play, anything. And after about an hour of just scrolling through the store, looking at what was available, looking at what games we could get, I come to a realization that games at the moment kind of suck. Here's why. So it's no surprise that obviously the video game industry is the biggest it's ever been. It's at its absolute peak. It's huge. The industry is massive. It's making millions and millions, and it's just huge, right? And obviously, for those of us that have grown up with gaming, especially those of us born in kind of like the 2000s, slightly before the 2000s, that have kind of watched gaming evolve and kind of become obviously what it is now, we've kind of grown up with it. And as we've grown alongside it, obviously we've witnessed the kind of introduction of like early games. I'm talking like the early Assassin's Creeds, Gears of War, very early games in like the 360 era, for example, and before as well, on older generations, and watching those games evolve and improve over time. And I think we've hit a stage now where obviously our expectations have become higher because we know what, like game engines and graphical updates and things like that. We know what they're capable of now. We know how good games can be. So our expectations have gone up, not just because of that, but because obviously pricing is going up as well. Games used to be like maybe 60 quid for AAA. Now some games you're talking 70, 80, 90. So they've increased, things have become more expensive. With that, obviously our expectations are going to be, well, if I'm paying more for it, then surely it has to be better than something I bought 5 years ago, right? Which isn't always the case. There are some older games that stand up far better than some newer games. And yes, there are some good games that have come out recently, but just scrolling through the Microsoft market and then just looking on Game Pass, and at that stage, I don't even have to pay for the game; I just install it. I kind of realised that at the moment, video gaming kind of it just kind of sucks. There's nothing interesting. There's nothing new. There's nothing good. There's nothing that I look at that strikes my fancy, and I'm like, I really, really want to play that. When was the last time you saw a game coming out, or you saw a game announced, and thought to yourselves, I really, really, really want to play that when it comes out? I haven't had that for a while, because the industry has become kind of so jaded and so kind of sly and kind of underhanded, what with like games releasing buggy, games not being as they should have been at launch, indie games that aren't what they say they are. There's stuff on the Microsoft store that literally has, for example, no gameplay images. It's just still images, and when you look at the reviews, it's just games that aren't even finished, and they're just cash grabbing on the Microsoft store, and people have like left reviews and been like, do not buy this game. And it's just like, how did the industry become so shady, I suppose is the word, and it becomes a minefield of trying to find like decent games that you can play with your friends or play alone, that that are going to be good, going to last you a decent while, and you're not going to break the bank if you want to buy them, right? So that's a reason. Increased expectations. We all expect games now to be incredible because we know again what the technology is that we have and what it's capable of, right? But also, there are devs obviously that have, upped the rules, like have raised the bar. So a good example maybe would be Baldur's Gate 3. The game did incredibly well, and really raised the bar for like what is expected of those kind of games. Another example of a comeback story is Cyberpunk. You guys know I love Cyberpunk. Obviously released as an absolute mess, and years later then it's like one of the best games I've ever played, and storytelling is incredible. Graphically it looks amazing. So like there are games that come out and do raise the bar. The problem is when they raise the bar, when their competitors and the other people in the industry don't want to hit that mark and aren't interested in hitting that new target, it then feels like those other games made by other developers maybe don't feel as kind of as good because they haven't hit the new target. They haven't bothered to try and reach for new heights. And with video gaming especially, I feel like it's a very kind of passion-fueled kind of industry. You know, you don't make video games just for money. Like, obviously, the people, the big guys up top do. That's all they're interested in. They don't have a clue about video games. But the working man and woman who actually make the video game, presumably, are only in that industry because it's passion. You know, they love video games. They want to make video games, and that's it. You know, that's how I see it. You know, they're not in it because they're like, yep, I'm going to make loads of money doing this, and I'm going to do this and this and this. That's the big guys at the top that care about like delays and want to release the game half broken because they have to hit their stock shares or whatever. But the actual working people that make the games, it's passion fueled. You know, they do it because they love it and they want to make good games. So when, you know, another game raises the bar, in theory, other developers should then strive to hit that new bar and raise it again. You know, it's like any kind of, it's almost like a competition. You know, if you see someone else do really, really well, first of all, good. You know, it's good to have healthy competition. Cool. Second of all, we're making a game. We're now going to aim to hit that target and raise that bar even higher again, and so on and so forth. Healthy competition, you know, back and forth, you know, inspires you to do better, try better, make better games. But at the moment, especially the last couple of years now, it feels like the industry's coming to like a kind of like a standstill. Games are still being developed, games are still being released, and that's great. But video games now just don't feel like they're as good as they used to be. And you know, there are a lot of factors that come into it. Like I've said, you know, our expectations have gone up. Obviously, the pricing of them has gone up. So with that, our expectations go up. Other games raise the bar, but then other games don't want to chase that new bar and aren't interested in being as good. So then when we play those games compared to the ones that did raise the bar, it doesn't feel as good. And also, we're growing up as well, you know? It sucks to say, but obviously you get older, you get more responsibilities, like a job and things like that, and you have less time for video games. Now, I'm quite lucky where I still make a lot of time for video games, you know, obviously because this is the kind of subject of my videos, and it's what I would like to do for a living. You know, I have to. And I'm fine with that because, you know, it is my main hobby. It's what I love to do in my free time. I love playing games. You guys know I love achievement hunting. It's like a big part of my life, and it always has been since I was a kid. But obviously, growing up, you know, you lose time for it, and when you lose time for it, obviously, the time you do then have to spend on game, it becomes even more special because obviously you're running on a limited supply, so you're not going to waste that time, you know, playing games that aren't really kind of vibing with you and aren't really that good when you could be playing something from 5 years ago that you know you'll enjoy and is consistent because you've played it before. And then it becomes this cycle of you don't try new games because you just can't find anything that interests you, or none of them just feel as good as they used to. So you just play on backwards compat. I've been doing that a lot recently. I've actually been playing a lot of games backwards compat, Far Cry 2, Battlefield 3, to name a couple of examples. I went back and played Bioshock. Yes, it's the collection, but it's still an older game, and I recently finished that. So I've been playing like kind of games that released a longer time ago rather than games that released this year. So for example, like I'm not playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. The last Call of Duty I played was the Modern Warfare 2019, and we're now in 2025 because I've just lost interest in Call of Duty as well. So I don't know, it just feels like for me the, you know, video games as a whole just kind of aren't as passion filled as they used to be. And I don't mean every single video game, right? Obviously there are video games being released that you can clearly see the developers actually care and love what they're doing, and that's great. But it feels like the kind of industry overall has become so much more kind of corporate and kind of serious that video games have almost kind of lost their spark a little bit. And it kind of sucks because, you know, I love video games, and to feel that way about them kind of, it is shitty. But I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe it is just me because I'm 24. I'm going to be 25 towards the end of this year. So I'm, you know, I am in my 20s now. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's because I'm getting older and I just have a little bit less time. So maybe that's why it feels like that they're not as good. And it's not me saying I'm not enjoying video gaming, because I am. Like, obviously I wouldn't do it otherwise, and it's still what I do for the majority of my week when I come home from work. It is my main hobby. So I haven't lost my love for video games or anything of that nature. It just feels like the industry and games that have released in the last couple of years, like modern games, I hate that term, but modern games or modern gaming, just feels like it's lost its spark a little bit. Everything just feels more corporate, more serious, you know, less passion filled, less enthused, and just, I don't know. It feels lackluster when I go on a Microsoft store and I can't find a game that interests me for over an hour and then don't find one at all. That to me is not a good thing. I should be able to load up the store, find something within 5 to 10 minutes that catches my eye and be like, oh, I really want to play that, or that looks good, or I should recommend this to X, Y, and Z, and we should play it, or I really want to achievement hunt that. Let's have a look at the achievements. Oh, that looks really good. I'm going to do that. But that didn't happen. I was just staring at games for like an hour and just gave up. The only thing that maybe slightly caught my fancy ish, and this is like a stretch, was Warhammer Darktide, and the only reason for that is because we were looking for a co-op game to play, and even then I didn't install it because we were like maybe, but we were like, is it going to be like, it looks okay. I've heard semi-decent things about Darktide, so maybe we will give it a go, but like just in the store, like as a general kind of, you know, overview of here's the game, here's the reviews, here's some screenshots, we both were kind of like, it looks alright. We weren't like, oh my god, this looks amazing, we need to play this now. We just kind of looked at it like, yeah, it looks decent, like it looks okay. It is a game, it looks like it functions, cool, good, great start. We didn't look at it and like our minds were blown. We were like, we really need to play this, which I miss that feeling. It's been a while since I've had that feeling. Maybe we'll get that feeling when, like, I don't know, GTA 6 comes out or something. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it isn't. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you think video games kind of suck a little bit more now than they used to when we were growing up. And if you think that way, then let me know what you think the issues are. Do you think it's because the industry's just become more corporate? Do you think it's because developers kind of give more of a shit now about making money than actually making the games? Or do you think it's something else entirely? Do you think it's just us? Do you think we're just getting old and it's our fault? Or do you think it's a mixture of everything? I don't know. Let me know in the comments, guys, because I made this video literally as a discussion piece. No fancy editing, no over the top stuff, no like this is a video game. I just wanted to make a video with a topic that we could discuss because I find it interesting. And I wanted to know if I'm the only one that thinks this way, if there are more people that think like this, if there are people that think a different way about it to me. Maybe there are people that disagree with me and they think that I'm wrong and the video game industry is the best it's ever been. And again, completely fair. Absolutely fair. Let me know in the comments why you feel that way. But that's going to do it for me. Just a quick little discussion piece this week, guys. I just wanted to do it. I don't know, it's been on my mind for all week and I was like, do I make a video, do I not? But I'm making the video. So leave a like, subscribe. I make a video once a week, 2 streams every week. The VODs then go up the week after as well. Again, leave a comment, let me know what you think about kind of this topic, because genuinely that's the only reason I made the video, is to discuss it with you guys. But yeah, much love from me as always. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves, guys. Bye-bye.